That's one of my favorite uses for it. Okay, so back to the system here. That's what hydrogen is used for. On the other side here, we've got oxygen. So oxygen is used with sulfur dioxide, and that's where the sulfur comes in and gets turned into sulfur dioxide using a chemical oxidizer. Sulfur plus oxygen, sulfur dioxide, that gas gets pumped into here along with the oxygen to make sulfur trioxide. So dioxide plus another oxygen is trioxide. Trioxide comes into the chemical infuser where we combine two different gases. This one is sulfur trioxide with water vapor. So we've got steam mixing in to create a liquid gas, sulfuric acid. So this here is our rotary condensator, which takes water and turns it into water vapor. So over here where we have sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Well, here's our sulfur trioxide. Mix that with our water vapor, which is H2O, and we get sulfuric acid. From there, we have a chemical dissolution chamber. So this one here, this is where we put our ore. Let's see. So we've got some iron ore. So we put this in there with this sulfuric acid, and it breaks it down and turns it into something called slurry. So it turns it into iron slurry because it's iron. That runs through a chemical washer. So using water and this washing process, we get, over here, we get clean iron slurry that then gets run through a chemical crystallizer, which looks kind of like a centrifuge, and it comes out as iron crystals. So for each iron ore that we put in, we get 5 iron crystals. Well, what do we do with these iron crystals? You can't just cook them up. These need to go into a purification chamber. That purification chamber gets turned into an iron clump. The iron clump then gets turned into dirty iron dust. Dirty iron dust turns into iron dust, which then eventually can be turned into your ingot. So there's more to this process than just what we have right here. Now it's time, now that things can be piped into the chemical injection chamber, it's time to move on and add in extra stuff. That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go ahead and finish the automation process here for quintupling ore. Excuse me. So I've already got the machines that we need. All we need to do is move them over and set up the pipes. Let's see, do I have any other pipes left here? No. So, oh wait. We have some basic logistic transporters. I don't think I'll need any of those, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and put our other stuff away that we don't need to take. I'll need to put that thaumium upstairs. And then eventually I'm going to get to actually making, you know, my magic room. And I'm going to go ahead and keep this iron ore with us for now. Oh yes, so here is a barrel. I think I'm going to hold off on using that right now. Basically, I think the farthest I'm going to go over there is the enrichment chamber to turn it into dust. I don't want to turn everything into ingots because if I need an alloy, then I have to melt it down or crush it again. So to the enrichment chamber is as far as we're going to go. So we've got these, and then I don't think I'm going to need any more water over there. So I'm not going to take the ender chest, though I do have one on me. And so no smelting, no crushing other than what we've already got set up. Let's go. Now, I may need a couple of other pipes because I've got some with me, but I don't know if I have enough. I don't want to just make a bunch right now if I don't need them, because I do require steel. And so right here, we are going to move this chest. And it's going to make a mess when I do it. That's okay. Yeah. So you see how everything is following me? That's because I have the ring of magnetization on me. Alright, so we've at least got everything cleaned up enough there. Let's get the purification chamber because that is the next one in line. And we're also going to need... Well, let's go ahead and switch over to the other bag. This is where all my science stuff is. So we're going to need some... Might need some pressurized tubes, got some universal cables, mechanical pipes. Each of these, of course, serves a different function. And the purification chamber is going to be next. And some basic universal cables for power. Alright, there we go. Purification chamber. This one here is going to... we're going to auto output into it. And then over here we need to make sure that it is set up to input. And then we're going to have it output on the side. So now to go ahead and test that, we are going to throw in one more iron ore. It'll run through the whole process. Now, after the purification chamber, if we look after this, it goes through a crusher. So we're going to need a universal cable here and a crusher. Okay, so this one here already has an oxygen tank in it. So it can start the process, but what I'll need to do is I'll need to pipe oxygen from here all the way over. So you can see here the purification chamber is already running. And we're getting iron clumps. So the next thing we need to do is check here for an input on the left side and an output on the right. So now our crusher is operating, and it doesn't need anything extra input into it for this to work. So the next thing is going to be an enrichment chamber, which again only needs power. So from here we tell it this side is an input, and then we're going to have an output on the right. So before we were going right to left, now we're just switching everything and going left to right. So eventually we will get 5 iron dust out of this. The only other thing we need to do is get our oxygen piped over. So now that this is all caught up, I don't need this up here anymore. Where's my wrench? Did I put my Yeta wrench away? I must have. Alright. So, in order to get this piped over there, we're going to need a lot more of the pressurized tubes because we need to move a gas. So for right now, I'm not really concerned. Okay, here you'll see 5 iron dust. It has been completed. Let's see. So I'm also going to need to set up, like I did before with the chemical injection chamber, I've got a lot of backlog that needs to go into this purification chamber. So let's go ahead and grab one of these logistical transporters here. And we're just going to put this chest right on top. It's so nice to be able to fly. And let's go ahead and do the iron first, because that's what I've already got there. Iron shards. Okay, so You'll notice that it's not auto-feeding. Gravity doesn't make it work. But if something is pushing out, like these machines will auto-eject, or other mods might have a way to, to push something out, it will allow that. Otherwise, we just take our configurator here, and we just shift right click to go to push, and then we go to pull, and now it should start pulling those out. However, this one is only set to allow an extra input, such as a gas. So since that is set to only allow a gas in there, we need to go ahead and change this to regular input. So now that this is connected here, where are we going to put the gas? Well, I want to actually run the gas on the top. So maybe what I should do is move this to the front. That would probably be the better idea. So let's grab this again. And yeah, we're just going to put this on the front, because that'll make it a lot easier. Alright, so we got all of that again. Let's go grab you. And I can actually just put it right there like that. Configurator from push to pull, and then we're just going to grab this. Alright, so that's all set up, except, again, we need to change the front to be a regular input. Well, we know we want the top to be purple, so it looks like this one must be the front. Or is it this one? Which one of these is the front of the machine? I'm not quite sure. Okay, so we know that this is the right side, and this one should be the top, because we already looked at that. Do I need to tell this thing to push? No, I wouldn't think so. So it's set to an input. You can see there because it's red. Current behavior input, dark red. These are iron shards, and oh, those are aluminum. That's what happened. I thought they were all iron. So that's going to cause some problems, because there's iron in here already. So I'm going to have to finish out that aluminum. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to do like we did on the other side with a barrel. I think I can push straight into it here, so I probably didn't need to pick that up. Alright, let's get back to a barrel right here. And yes, it's going ahead and putting everything automatically. Now, I want this to automatically move everything, but I'm not going to lock it because I want it to cycle through basically everything that it can possibly put in there. Okay, so that there is filling up. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to have to, as soon as it's done, I'll have to tell it not to put stuff in there anymore. So I'm going to need one more barrel, and then I'm going to need a Mark 1 and a Mark 2 for this. I've already got a Mark 2 upgrade for it, so I just need the Mark 1, but then I need to make another one for the other side. And let's see. Oh, you know what? I don't even need to do that. I can just make this an ender chest. Yeah, I'll hook this up with the ender chest at the other end, because everything's going to be dust. So, okay, that's fine. Ender chest is going to be way easier than trying to do the B-Space thing again. Not that the B-Space upgrade was difficult, but because, again, I don't want it to auto-process into ingots, it might as well just go back into the rest of the system. Let's go ahead and sleep to keep the brine production going. So, I believe it's brown, brown, brown is what I have. Let's see, if I look here on my ender pouch, I am pretty sure that's brown. I could probably drop it, and will it show me? No, it won't show me there. That's right, I'll just look at it downstairs. So I'm also going to need 2 obsidian, 4 blaze rods, and an ender pearl, and 1 chest. You may notice that I have some other chests here. These are trapped chests. I got those out of a dungeon, and I don't have a use for them yet. Hey there, Game Mineer. Game Mineer. Just want to make sure that I say that properly. Okay, so the only other thing I need is some brown dye. I don't know that I have any brown dye in here. Oh, you know what? I did get cocoa beans finally. So when I originally started, I was changing the brown petals, which is really a simple thing to do. But then I found out that, and for those of you who may not be familiar with it, let me clear some of this stuff out here real quick. If you look at cocoa beans, okay, there's actually a recipe to make cocoa beans. All you need is pumpkin seeds and do mana infusion using the alchemy catalyst, and then you can get cocoa beans. I was like, wow, really? The only other way is if you have cocoa comb, which comes from a crumbling queen, or a steadfast, valiant, or heroic. And, you know, I didn't want to spend that much time breeding bees when I could just use a little mana infusion, and hey, we're good to go. I was much happier to do it this way, let me tell you. And the jungle wood, you can actually take a, not spruce, which one is it? It is birch. So if you look here at uses for this, with mana infusion, you can turn a birch sapling into a jungle sapling.